In 2016, a group of highly skilled criminals executed one of the most daring heists in Dutch history. This story involves masked guys, a Brinks truck, numerous shootouts, automobiles set on fire, police pursuits, and much more. How did they break into a high-security vault and steal millions of dollars worth of precious jewels, leaving authorities baffled and the nation in shock? Join us as we dive inside the mind-blowing heist that shocked the entire nation and uncover the fascinating story behind the Dutch mob. May 19th, 2021, Amsterdam. What began as an ordinary gray day in Amsterdam quickly changed into a scene straight out of a movie. Nobody anticipated what would occur, but when it did, chaos reigned. At the beginning of the afternoon, 9 masked guys brandishing automatic rifles rush out of 2 black Audi A6s and a black Porsche Cayenne. The Porsche rams a door as it reverses. A Brinks truck had driven in through that precise door moments earlier. The Skåne eller Metalla entry was the door. Gerrit Skåne founded Skåne eller Metalla in 1739, making it one of the world's 3 oldest gold trading firms. Around 67 million euros worth of precious metals were in the Brinks truck that had just entered the structure. The first criminals to enter pointed automatic guns at the staff, bound their hands and feet, and then proceeded to cover their faces with masks so they could not see. AUDI Karim LG was firing his weapon outside the building while chaos erupted inside. He did it to advise people to stay away and not get involved. Residents hid in their homes, as many on the street feared for their lives. In less than 3 minutes, the robbers stole 22 boxes and smaller bundles containing gold bars, platina, and many other precious metals. To reduce the possibility of having no plunder if the car containing everything is broken into, these are separated and loaded among the vehicles. These people had experience. These people were performing tasks with precision. Later, it was discovered by the police that they had been scouting the structure for a few months in order to organize their crime, and had even produced a thorough film using drone footage. Slowly but surely, Skåne eller Metalla was shifting its operations overseas, making this place obsolete. The robbers were aware of this and realized that this was their last opportunity to act. The time had come to leave the area. This is where things become reckless. The initial police units were promptly summoned to the location while the cars were being loaded. The criminals became aware of the initial police pursuit as they were leaving. They opened fire on the cops with their automatic rifles without hesitation, and the latter responded by opening fire as well. Remember that this all took place in the bustling city center of Amsterdam during the afternoon. The cops were attempting to take their property away from them, but these individuals didn't seem to care. All they could see were cash signs. To force the pursuing police cars to give up the pursuit, the bandits also tossed spikes at them as the chase continued. Specialists informed the police that the main reason none of the cops were injured in this incident was probably due to the rusted barrels of guns that they were using, which caused the bullets to exit at unusual angles, making it more difficult for the robbers to aim and fire. They continued to leave Amsterdam at a breakneck speed while exchanging gunfire with the police and the suspects. The suspects left Amsterdam and drove to Broek in Waterland. In this small village, they had left additional getaway cars that weren't as flashy as the Porsches and Audis. They promptly set the Porsche and Audi on fire after transferring the booty to the new getaway cars, one of which is a Renault Megane. Where did the third automobile go, you may be wondering? We will address it later. They continued to flee while the cars burned down. Still, they got into significant danger because they were unfamiliar with the little town and the weather. They accidentally went down a dead end. Turning around and heading in a different direction was no longer an option. They were caught and aware of it. One of the getaway vehicles crashed into a tree in a home's garden. A mother and her daughter were at home at the time, and they were shocked at what they observed. Guys in black, armed with automatic weapons and balaclavas, shooting at the cops in their own backyard. That must have been quite terrifying to witness. Afterward, The mother and daughter claimed to a news reporter that they could hear the gunfire while hiding in their closet. At this point, the gang disperses. 2 of them conceal themselves under garbage cans in a house's garden. The others had no choice but to get out of the cars and walk towards the grassy areas that surrounded the small neighborhood. The end was imminent. They continued firing at the police as they moved through the grassy fields. Reporters were told by the police officers that they feared for their lives. The police were pursuing the criminals on foot. A helicopter had a clear view of them. The grass fields were miles long, and the robbers could no longer flee. Yet they resisted being defeated, so one of them was shot in the area. Right then, he breathed his last. Osiris Diawara, 46 years old, was his name. Despite wearing a bulletproof vest, Diawara was struck in the same spot where the armor failed to shield him, in the left collarbone. He leaves a 14-year-old kid in his wake. One of the 3 vehicles was able to elude the authorities. Before the robbery, the thieves left a black BMW parked beneath a bridge in Diemen as their backup getaway car. They removed their stolen goods from the Audi and set it ablaze. The BMW was then used to travel to Rotterdam South. 3 men are captured on surveillance footage, walking close to a popular retail area. They appeared to be typical passerbys, and anyone passing them would have no idea what they were up to just 2 hours before. One still had his hat and shoes on from the heist, and they were both sauntering. There was no indication that they felt any urgency to hide. They may be seen casually leaving a few hours later in a Lamborghini URUS and a Volkswagen 8 GTI. Does crime pay with such expensive cars? It is astounding how composed they appeared, as if nothing had occurred. According to the early press reports, the theft was unsuccessful. The criminals fled empty-handed because there was no booty. Because the robbers did not escape with anything, it is unclear whether this was a ruse or they actually had no idea. It was discovered that they had stolen things worth millions of dollars when the inquiry continued in the hours following the crime. At least 14.5 million euros were taken as theft, even though they had only taken a portion of the precious metals that the entire Brinks truck contained. Over $67 million. It was still a significant sum. They could not accept any more due to time restrictions and the weight of the precious metals. 4.5 million euros in 3 minutes is still a respectable amount. They also stole 1.5 kilograms of gold dust, several gold bars, 80 kilograms of platinum valued at 2.5 million euros, and an entire box of golden rings and other trinkets, which were subsequently discovered. Even though it was an exceptionally well-planned heist, practically everyone was apprehended. Most of them were quickly known in the grassy fields of Broek Waterland. One of the 3 men who managed to escape was caught in Rotterdam later that day. One didn't get caught until December 23, 2022 in Guinea, a West African nation. The 3rd person is still at large and hasn't been seen by authorities. It's unclear where he might be right now. 4.2 million euros of the 14.5 million euros worth of products have not yet been located. Given how difficult it is to market the stolen items, it is unclear how much money the thieves actually made. For what they accomplished, most of the robbers were sentenced to 18 years in prison. According to the court, their use of violence significantly impacted the outcome, as only one of them had a significant role in the chase, and it was proven that he had not fired at the police during it. He was only sentenced to 5 years in prison. Once they go, I wonder if they will discover anything from the stolen loot. How do you feel? The Dutch have never heard of what transpired here. It will be remembered as one of the most brutal robberies in the nation. May 19th, 2021 was, according to one seasoned cop, the single most significant incident in his 32-year tenure. For days on end, the news covered it, talking about the Wild West settings, the automatic weapons, the police pursuit, the looting, and of course, the peculiar conclusion. Other nations around the world also covered it in the news. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications before leaving. Thanks for watching.